Good afternoon. My name is Villige, and today we're going to be discussing self esteem versus ego. This is a very, very big topic, so we're going to break it down into segments. But today we're going to discuss self esteem. What is self esteem? I like to define self esteem as a person's instinctive discovery about their own attractiveness. Yeah. A person's self esteem griddles beliefs about their personal feelings, such as shame, pride, achievements, happiness, and a lot more. Now, self esteem plays a very critical role in our everyday life. Depending on how high or low a person's self esteem is, it shows out it shows out in their presentation, in their successfulness, in their relationship with people. So, unlike a person with high self esteem who will walk in a room or walk in a gathering and feel that they're the most special, they're the most important person at that gathering. A person with low self esteem is limited, is reduced in every form, despite their appearance, despite their status. A person with low self esteem feels that others are always better than them. A person with low self esteem feels that they're restricted, their limitations to the things that they're supposed or bound to do in this life. That's why low self esteem does. And people who are like that, you notice that some tries to fit, some tries to shy away. Now the ones that try to fit, you discover that they make lots of mistakes in life. They make lots of bad choices. They tend to make choices that later put them in situations that are very challenging, right? Because of how low and limited they feel of themselves. Like I said, self-esteem plays a critical role in our everyday life. Depending how you see yourself, right? Like how you look at yourself to be. It makes you confident of yourself. You can go to any breadth, any length once your self-esteem is so high. Now, mind you, that's why our local people say Saka, right? Sometimes people with over plus high esteem, people reference them as ones who have some medical problem, right? Because like they do a lot of things so extreme, but we will discuss that as we go further. So take for example, two guys grew up together, right? Joy and Pierre. I'm just gonna make reference to those two. Joy and Pierre. And maybe John growing up was birthed with halitosis, and he knows of it. He's aware of it. So that is another physical aspect of life that had already put some form of limitation on him, right? Because he feels that with this, he's not to be in any public gathering, because with the fact that he has that, when he talk to people in his breath is thing, people gonna have a different notion of him, right? That's how people with low self-esteem think. Their thought for life is so negative. Like they feel that, okay, I don't belong here. This is for a particular group of people. In my For me, I don't think I belong in this ring, right? That's how people with low self-esteem will think. So growing up, he shies away. Like he shies away from expressing himself. He shies away from revealing the thoughts that's in that comes to his mind, because he feels that talking to people puts out his problem, right? And now people with self-esteem are always struggling with embracing their weaknesses, right? So that's like a weakness for him, because he feels he has a bad breath. So talking to people, going out there and expressing himself to people will make people to know of him, to know that problem of him. And he don't want that, so he keep it to himself and he shies away. Unlike John, who's very sweaty, John has a very bad odor, but John doesn't care, because John believes that he is who he is. Despite his odor, despite wherever he is, he can go to anywhere. He will dress out, he will get out, he will move. When he goes in place and people is talking and he have opinion, he puts his hands up and he says it just as he thinks it, right? And he doesn't care how people think about him. He doesn't care what people feel about him, because he is who he is, right? He embraces the part of him that is wrong, the part of him that is bad, because that's who he is. That's who he is, right? So his confidence is so high, his self-esteem is high, he believes in himself. He discovered there are other unique talents about himself, there are other unique things that he owns, right? That's by him having order or stuff like that. He discovered that, okay, this is just a little bit of what I'm made of. This is just a little bit of my very self over here. So I'm not going to let it get to me. Unlike John, who struggles with the halitosis and think that, okay, he don't want people to know that his love is thing. Okay, let's look at another scenario. Someone who's obese, right? Two fat ladies sit here. One is afraid to dress up. One is afraid to wear what she's comfortable in, because she thinks she's fat. She's not beautiful anymore. It happens. I mean, this is something common in our society. A lot of girls who have kids in them, maybe have gained so much weight, they feel very insecure of themselves. Insecurity is one thing that low self-esteem brings to a person. They feel so insecure of themselves, because okay, now I used to be like this, but now I'm like this. How people gonna see me? How people gonna think about me? That's what a person with low self-esteem, they're always concerned about what other people think of them. They're always concerned what the world will say if they do this. Unlike a person with high self-esteem, who follow their discoveries of themselves, right? Who look for that unique part of themselves. What is so attractive of me, and I can grip onto it and use it at my own disposal to get whatever I want, right? Because they're pushing for success. They're pushing for something that is rewarding. Because once you shy away, you're hiding behind something that is just not worth it, and nobody gonna know you. Those thoughts that come in your head is just gonna stay in your head. Nobody gonna hear it. No one gonna say anything. I made reference to a psychologist, right? Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow said that self-esteem is life's greatest motivation, and that's true. That's true. I agree with that 100%, right? So because once your self-esteem is low, nothing can boost your ego. Nothing can boost you up to get something. Like I said, this topic is about self-esteem versus ego, right? But we are discussing self-esteem today, and then the next time we'll talk about ego, and it's going to be broken down into 3 segments. And in the third, we're going to just make comparison on both. Just go into self-esteem and go into egos as well. High self-esteem and low self-esteem, and these are broken down. These are broken down into channels. A person with low self-esteem is always shying behind something. It's always holding back behind something. You will never find him. You will never find him like going out to pursue and fight for that thing that is so want, because they're shy, they're shame, which is bad, which is negative. And then sometimes the word and oppressing reflection of that person is just going to make it worse, depending on the gathering you find yourself, depending on where the people you affiliate with, right? It's just gonna bring a hedge of a wall onto that burden that you carry also for yourself. Because Your self-esteem is low. You see life as something that you don't fit in, right? You think that, okay, these people, the world is going to look at me like this. I don't deserve to be here. Their expression for life is negative. They don't accept, because they don't want to accept their fears. They don't want to accept their weaknesses. They don't want to embrace and accept those things. They shy away because they don't want anybody telling them whatever. They don't want anybody telling them anything negative, so they shy away. Unlike a person who is of confidence in themselves, a person who believes in themselves, they motivate themselves, they go forward, they look for something. I don't care what you say about me. I'm fine. I don't care. I'm who I am, and I'm good at this, so I'll go for it. So that's the clue of it, right? I don't care what you say. You talk about me, you say the words about me. That's just a little bit of what I am made of. That's just a little bit of what I can do to accomplish something, to have that, to fulfill my goals, to fulfill my dreams, to fulfill those things that I desire. What you say about me is just a little bit of it. It's not even close to that thing that I want to do. So I'm not looking at you. I don't care about your feelings. Who I am, and I'm good at this, so I'll go for it. So that's the clue of it, right? I don't care what you say. You talk about me, you say the words about me. That's just a little bit of what I am made of. That's just a little bit of what I can do to accomplish something, to have that, to fulfill my goals, to fulfill my dreams, to fulfill those things that I desire. What you say about me is just a little bit of it. It's not even close to that thing that I want to do. So I'm not looking at you. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your thoughts. I'm going for this. A person who has self-esteem, that's what it does. They are not afraid of failure. They are not afraid of rejects. They are not afraid of negativity. And when I say negativity, like what you say, right? What people say about them, they are not afraid of it. Matter of fact, they use that as a challenge to embrace themselves for higher ranking. They use that as a challenge to go forward and achieve that which they want, that which they have discovered about themselves. They hold on to the positive part of their life as a grip and use that to forge ahead. They don't look at negativity. People with high self-esteem do not even dwell in the past of bad experiences. No, they don't even speak about it. Matter of fact, they avoid speaking of it because it's just a form of setback, right? A person with high self-esteem believes in themselves. They are confident in themselves. And trust me, most people that have high self-esteem, they are very successful. Like I said before, success is not about you being good at something or having money and every other thing. No, success is about pursuing something that you love, that you're passionate about, and living it to the fullest, living it to the best. A lot of people who have high self-esteem are very, very much successful. I make reference to an actor, Ted Knight. Ted Knight grew up in a family very poor. I mean, bartender, but his passion for acting was so high, so high. He went from one a voice actor to another voice actor to recorder to, I mean, a lot of stages that but people would even laugh at him. People even mocked at him, but he didn't even care because his passion was acting. And in no time, as he kept on pursuing that and going forward for it, he found himself landing a very big job that made him to come up. And he's recognized today as one of the best actors ever. As some of the best actors ever. Let me take a clarification on that. So your self-esteem plays a vital role in your life. How you govern yourself, how you present yourself, how you move around. How can you build up your self-esteem? By loving yourself. Love yourself. Like me. I love myself. Yeah, I speak of myself because I love myself. When I enter a place, no matter how high of a status or how high of a character, I don't really know how to term it. I feel that I'm the best person in that room. No, trust me, I don't look down on people. No, I don't do that. But I love myself and I believe in myself. And that's why I go for whatever I believe in. People tend to differ with me. People have some people have problem with me. Some people say bad stuff. But I believe in myself and I don't care about other two negative things. So a person with high self-esteem goes for that. Don't believe they don't dwell in negativities. They are not afraid of rejects. They're not afraid of criticism. They are not afraid to fail. They keep trying to go forward. And that's what life is. Because in order to achieve something, in order to be successful, you have to try a lot of things that you're good at, that you're passionate about. Instead of hiding behind your cover, instead of hiding behind something like the example that I gave with John and Peter, instead of, okay, because I know it's embarrassing, right? Yeah, it's embarrassing, but you can help it. So because of that one part of yourself, you're gonna hide all of the potentials that you have. A lot of people do that in our society. A lot of people do. So how can you build up your self-esteem? How can you build up yourself? You build up your self-esteem by loving yourself, knowing your worth and your values, knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and embrace them. That's who you are. People may tend to differ, so people might tend to say stuff about you. People might have things that you may not want to hear. Come on, honey, that's the word. It doesn't revolve around you. So accept it and move on. Embrace the best part of your life and go for it. Embrace the positive side of your life and go for it. Learn to accept criticism. There is no one that is perfect except perfection. There is no one that is a perfect being. No. So if you think that, okay, you have to do everything, so people try to be so critical. You try to be so critical on the things you do because you don't want for people. So, my dear brother and sister, you have to move out there and do what you know that you're good at doing. What you know that your soul, your body, your mind, everything works with. Don't dwell in what people will say about you, because people will still talk. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you do, people still gonna talk. So if you think you can do anything perfect, that's a lie, because you always make mistakes. And these mistakes that you made, they're there for you to learn from it. The mistakes that you made are learning processes for you, because through those mistakes that you made, that's how you learn. Okay, I did this and this happened, and it helps you as a full pass. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail. Have a goal in life. Have a set goal for yourself. And every time, use that channel to see if you're in track with the things that you are planned and listed as goals for your life. If you find yourself falling out of it, you ask yourself question, what am I doing that is totally off this path that I set for my life? Is it that maybe people personal feelings or people personal discovery about me has an impact on my life? Or is it that I don't feel confident in myself anymore? You start to question yourself and then boost your own self-esteem by motivating yourself. Like Abraham Maslow said, self-esteem is life's greatest motivation, and that's true. How high and low your self-esteem is, it shows your presence.